Okay, I just hit record. So what I want to do tonight is I'm going to make a mini album, but I've kind of cheated a little bit, and I've already started the mini album because I really want to focus tonight on layers and how you can make layers with small objects. Can you guys hear me okay? Do you guys still hear me okay? Okay, good. All right, I put my headset on so you guys wouldn't hear the background noise. I have got some serious cheering going on in the other room. So, a little clearer. Good. I have an air conditioner running in the background, so it's probably making a lot of background noise. So you guys are excited about a layering class. Okay, so while we're at it, let me tell you, I've already put the base of the mini album together. What it was I took some policy envelopes, and policy envelopes are those that kind of open from the side instead of from the top. And if you have the ones that open from the top, just seal them. You can still use them. So these are regular number 10 envelopes. Hey, Lamore. I hope Ava is okay. I heard she fell down on the playground today. Please drop in if she's okay, because I've been worried sick about her. Anyway, so our mini album is just going to be a base mini album you guys have seen 1,000 times. It's just an envelope, and all I did was I cut it down to 6.5 inches. So this one is a number 10 envelope, which means that it is, go this way, just shy of 9 inches. So your 8.5 by 11s would fold and put in here. Now, the ones I'm using are craft colored, and you can find them anywhere, like I said. You can use a standard number 10 envelope if you want to, because you're going to cut it down to the size you need. So what I did was I have my base pieces, and I kind of already have them in order of how I want to use them in here, so I don't want to show you all of them at one time. But I have my base pieces that I've cut down, and I've just taken them all in on the back end of them. I've cut them down to 6.5 inches, and then I punched a hole in them with my bind it all. If you guys don't have a bind it all, you can always use you could use jump rings. You could use any kind of binding method you want. The binding method is completely irrelevant. So is everybody following me so far? So I'm just taking, and I have how many envelopes here? Let me see. 1, 2, 3. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 envelopes. So we're going to take 5 envelopes. We're going to cut them off at 6.5 inches, leaving this flap open. Does that make sense? Oh, welcome, newbies. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So then what we're going to do is I covered all of my pages, except for this one because I wanted to show you guys what I was doing. I don't need this guy anymore. I'm going to throw him out. I went ahead and covered all of my pages with my paper. Just that basic. There's no need for me to go through and show you guys how to cover a paper. I'd rather show you guys how to embellish the book. Does that make sense? Hi, Jordana. Okay, so we have, for the newbies who just got here, we have taken a number 10 envelope, and we've cut it down to 6.5 inches, leaving the flap open on all the envelopes, okay? Then I punched a hole in it with my bind it all for my binding system. You can use jump rings or anything like that. I know this is a review for everybody who's logging in late. Okay, got it, got it, got it. Let's move on. Then I covered all of them with the paper. Now, I'm not going to give you measurements on this because your envelopes might be a little bit wider than mine are, but just know that the paper comes stock at 6 inches by 6 inches in the tablet, so I just cut them down, you know, by cutting them 6.5, or cutting the envelopes off at 6.5 and then binding it. That left me a little bit of a little bit of a border here, so I just have 6 inches wide and then whatever the depth of your envelope is. Does this make sense for everybody? Clear as mud? Hi, Mookie007. Okay, so now you have 5 of these beautiful envelopes, and I have covered all of them, and they've got them to the side except for this one because I wanted to show you something. So on this last one, I'm going to go ahead and put my paper down, and I use the same paper on the outside of my book as I'm using on the inside of my book. And I'm just using this ATG gun for gluing it down because it will hold it just fine. I don't have any problems with that. Seriously, my desk is a nightmare right now because I have so many things out wanting to use in this book. Just make sure your patterns are going in the right direction. This is the back of my book, so I just wanted to flip it over and make sure. So that's all I did to all 5 envelopes. Then for the 2 that are going to be my covers, so I have an outside cover and an inside cover. My front cover and my back cover. I took a cereal box and I just trimmed it down to the size of the envelope, and I'm going to slip it down inside of here, and that's going to give me a chipboard cover without me having to cover a bunch of envelopes. Does that make sense? Everybody with me? All right, now here's the trick. I don't want that cereal box to come back this way and get into my holes here. I don't want to see that ugly cover. So this is what I did, and I did it on the front cover as well as the back cover. I pushed it to where it was just inside of those holes, just to the other side of those holes, and I'm just going to take some wet adhesive. You can use any kind you want. I'm going to use this mono adhesive because it dries really, really fast, and I'm just going to stick some glue down in there, right along there. And then I'm also going to kind of put a little bit between the spaces between the holes, and that's just going to keep that envelope sealed down for me. Now, I did not do this for every one of those, just the 2 covers that had the chipboard on it. And the reason is because the bind it all is going to keep that stuff from sliding down into the holes, and I wanted to leave them open a little bit. So all of these envelopes then, I went through and tucked this little flap to the inside. I didn't seal it. I just tucked it in so that I could use this for a tag holder if I want to, or an additional photo later. So is everybody following me now? Hi, Maggie. I'm so glad you made it. Maggie's on Marion's design team with me. So this is going to be just a super simple construction. So I have my back piece, and I've decided this paper collection, and it's really rude of me not to show you the paper collection, has a really nice fall patterns to it. I love it. Love it, love it. So when I started brainstorming about this class, I decided I really wanted to use things that reminded me of fall. You know, sweaters and denim and, you know, just some really nice, cozy, comfy colors. These are really nice, rich, warm palette. Love it. So I wanted to kind of use some of those things in here. Natural. I wanted to keep things kind of natural. So I'm running out of space to put stuff. So I dug deep into the bowels of this room, and I pulled out a pair of old jeans that I had saved from the trash. These are some jeans that my husband had worn and got paint all over them, and you know, the kind they have the holes all through them that they don't really want to get rid of. Well, I cut the legs off of them and put the legs in here in the room, and I've made mini albums out of the seats where the pockets and all that were. So we're going to use some of this denim in this book, and I don't care that it has paint on it, because to me that adds to the characteristics of the book. This collection is called Persimmon by Basic Gray. So I've taken some of this denim and I've die cut it with my spellbinders, and I've already there it is. So I used one of the flower dies from the Spellbinders, and notice I have two different sizes here. I used the largest cut of the one, because this is going to actually cover my flap and make it come around to close off my mini album when I get it together. So I don't want to do this till the end because I don't know how deep I need it to go. So I'm going to hold off on doing that step till the very end. But in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and start assembling my book. And I'm going to try and do it from the back forward so that I stay focused. Because truthfully, tonight is going to be one of those nights I'm going to have a really hard time, I think, because I just love everything. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on my jump ring. And I'm just using an 1.5" jump ring. Well, a 3/4 inch jump or bind it all ring. And now I'm going to go ahead and start covering this up. Now I have over to the side, I have gone into my silhouette and I've cut out some of these. I just made them. It's just a rectangle that is, and I'll tell you the measurements of it. Here, I got a ruler right here. 6.5 inches by 2 3/4 inches. And then what I did was I just cut out a square here, and the square is actually 2.5 inches. So the inside square here is 2.5 inches. So I just did this on my silhouette. You can also do it with your Spellbinders. Actually, wait, I think I probably did this with my Spellbinder square. I just cut the rectangle and then did the square. I did some of these on my silhouette and some on my, then I wised up and said, you have a silhouette, why are you using the Spellbinders for that? But anyway, so here's my thing. With the Polaroids, I find that if I don't have my pictures yet, I do much better if I leave the back flap, because then I can lay down and glue, but still have space to open this up, put my picture in, and then I can seal it down. Does that make sense to everybody? So tonight we're going to spend some time talking about layering. And with this collection, we have some amazing layers of stuff. So I really want to focus a lot tonight on building layers, and I start usually with my biggest elements, putting them towards the bottom. You guys know I have this bucket on my desk with scraps in it, and this was a scrap. And if you notice, there's some paint and stuff that's on it. So I'm just going to glue those imperfect sides down. Now, whenever I'm thinking about layering, I do not cover everything from the bottom. I just put a little bit of glue here and there. I don't cover everything, every little space. So I started out with this, and then that's going to kind of soften up this pattern just a little bit. And then I want to pull off to the side and take a look at some of the other things I have. Another product I want to demo with you guys tonight is this Cosmo Cricut glitter sheet. You guys know I do not like glitter, and I don't like glitter because it gets everywhere. I just can't stand the fact that it gets all over you when you're using it. Well, when we were at CHA, Julie Comstock had this entire display covered in this, and I literally took a step back away from the display and hyperventilated. And then she said, I know I did the same thing until I saw it myself. Go over and touch it. And I'm like, I really don't want to touch it because I don't want it all over me. And she said, no, 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 you have to go touch it. So I did and fell in love. I am now a glitter girl, guys. I've never, ever in my life been a glitter girl. There's a staple in this holding it in place, so I need to pull it out. But let me show you this. This is amazing. Look at the shine. Look at the texture. Gorgeous. Look at this. No glitter on my hands. None. Nowhere. You can die cut it. You can, now I haven't tried it in my silhouette yet, but I so want to. You can die cut it. You can punch it with your punches. I wouldn't use the Martha Stewart punches because they don't even want to cut through paper. But you could definitely cut it with your tonic punches because I did that at CHA. I cut this with my this one right here I cut with an EK Success punch. And look at it. No glitter on my hands anywhere. Super bright colors. Love it, love it, love it. No loose glitter anywhere. I love my Martha Stewart punches, but seriously, if it's not just paper, it won't cut through them. It gets hung up on cardstock, and it just drives me bananas. So I wouldn't cut glitter sheets with that. Use with caution. But anyway, just a little teeny tiny piece goes a long way. Look at how much that's just going to zazz that up with just a little tiny bit. Now, I really want to bring the navy blue into this side. So I have this little navy blue Polaroid here. My mind's not going to work because I'm seriously like almost hyperventilating here because I'm just so excited. So I need to decide where I want to put this one, and I want to build out some layers. I really want each page to have a spot for journaling, and I want each page to have a spot for some good old-fashioned layers. I really think that this page is kind of dull at the moment, and I want to pull some color in. I have some washi tape over here to the side. So what I'm going to do is take some of this washi tape, really keeping it simple, just going to rip it off, and then I'm going to just make a couple of little flags by just, the little fishtail flags. And I'm just going to place them right up here. Maybe do one more. You don't need a whole lot, just a couple to add a little bit to your layers. And see how that just adds just a little bit of color there? And if you're careful, if it's a stripe and you're careful with how you line it up, it just looks like one big continuous piece. So love it. Flip it over to the back and just trim it off. I don't want that to spill over to the back. And you could definitely decorate these pages before you actually put them onto your book. That would probably be good. And then I want to take this little guy right here, and I think I want to, it's adhesive backed, so you can pull this off. But before I do put it down, I want to grab out a tag, and I'm going to place the tag, like maybe, I don't want to go over that. I just maybe want to come out just a little bit like right in here, because this is going to be where my journaling happens. Maybe about right there, and then cover this up going this way. But before I put this down, I want it to look like I stapled it. So, grab my little tiny attacher. I'm going to put just a couple of little staples, one there and one there. I love the look of this, staples, and I'm just going to place that down. So see, just in that little bit of time I've added this layer. So I've got 1, 2, 3 layers there. I'm going to bring this up. And notice I'm mounting my Polaroid sideways. That's fine. Don't be afraid to do that. I'm going to go ahead and commit to that Polaroid, but I'm only going to put tape right here in the center, because if I decide I want to tuck something in around it, it's not a big deal. Okay, I'm going to put that right there. And then I also have off to the side here, I have some of these little pieces of extra ribbon. But right now, let's see, I've got some sequins sitting here. Open these things up. I should have had that already open. And again, I just want a little pop of color. I'll pull some of those sequins off and maybe staple those to my tag, which isn't glued down yet. So I'm just going to kind of pull them around right here. Now this tag is going to be my spot for my journaling. And just put a couple in there so it stays. Look at how cute that just dressed that up right there. And save that little guy right there that just fell off, because he might go good on something in a minute. And now I need just a little something to draw your eye back out through here. I'm going to take and just push that down really good so it stays down and out of the way. So I'm going to go digging through some of my, here's an arrow, which is perfect. So if I put my arrow, when I'm thinking about my layers now, I'm thinking about placement where I'm not going to see like little ends hanging out. That's how I think of layering, is I try to cover up ends. And I love how this is pointing down, but I think it might even be good to have it pointing this way, because then if it points this way, it kind of is hanging off the edge here. So let's staple it on, because that just kind of reinforces those staples again. How cool is that? And then I think I want to cut off this little tail right here. Now this little arrow was part of the line. It is part of the ephemera pack. I didn't show these products ahead of time because I have a video that I posted yesterday on my YouTube channel that goes through all of these products, and because we're going to be kind of short on time, I wanted to make sure I had enough time to do the project itself. So there we go. I'm just going to leave this alone for now. I think sometimes we just get, with these mini albums, we overdo it too much, so I'm going to keep this very simple. I do want to go ahead and glue this down just a little bit more so it doesn't flop around too much. And then here's my theory on mini albums. I do a quick pass and then I go back through when I start adding my pictures. I go through some of my extra pieces and I start adding. And if I keep adding now, then I'm going to run out of room. I can tell you now that this is kind of bugging me a little bit. I don't want to see too much of this up here. This is lifting up, so I'm going to give it a little bit of glue. I've got love bugs in here. I don't know if you guys know what a love bug is, but they show up in Florida this time of year. They're horrible. They don't bite at all, but they swarm everywhere. Okay, and maybe, let's see, what can I put up here across the top to just kind of diffuse that. I'll come back to it because I want to go to the next page. Okay, so my next page, I need to decide what I want on my next page, and I'm going to go with this one. And on this one, I think I want to keep this one kind of simple because this one's got the blue on this side. It's got a lot of bling over here. And actually, this might be a good time to just take this and taking some vintage photo and just kind of distress this up a little bit. It's just a little too clean. And I stuck with vintage photo as my base color because there's so much orange in this paper line that I thought it was just a good color for my base. I may have to glue that sequin down too. Might get pulled, but that's going to be my journaling. There's my photo. Then we're going to move on to this side. And on this side, I think I'm going to take, this is just a craft doily. And I'm thinking I might want it kind of off to the side a little bit. I've got another little blue picture frame here, which if I have the picture frame, let's go to this side, like this. This will be the perfect spot for my journaling on this page. So I want to keep that in mind as I'm building out my layers so I don't cover that up. So I'm going to go ahead and put that down. Right there. And, you know, think about little things like that, because, see, here's what I can do. I can always print my journaling out on the computer and then cut out a circle and put it right in the middle to give another layer. Then I can take this one and see this side has the thing going this way. So maybe on this side I want it going up and down like this. So we're going to go ahead and mount that down. And like I said before, I'm just going to put glue along this middle section. I'm going to try to avoid putting anything around the edges. I can always come back and add a little spot of glue to the frame later to give it a little more stability if I need to. So I've got that. I'm going to make sure that's good and closed. Now, I think I want to use some labels. And these are all labels that I got from my silhouette. I pinned it in my Pinterest file, but I have all these different labels that are all different shapes, and all different colors, and I just sat there one day and cut a whole bunch of them out. And I keep these little iris boxes. Oh, is it too far away? Like, bring it this way? Or bring it down? Bring it down? Like this way? Is that better? I can't zoom it. Is that better? That was called the manual zoom. Okay. So I have this little box of all of these little labels, and they are amazing for layering and things like that. So I have them. I'm going to just kind of darken this one up, and I cut these out on my silhouette. You can also scour your office supply places, because office supply stores have really smartened up to the fact that scrapbookers are using their products, and they have started making some really super cool office supplies now. So this is just what I would call just a label, and I'm going to stick it here onto that little frame. And I have one of these little Amy Tangerine little, it's the pink one, I don't know what it's called. I have long lost the what you call it for that. Anyway, this is the new Surface from Colorbox. This is very similar to the Stays On ink. It's permanent, and it's got a really nice suction on the lid, so it's hard to pull it apart, but that keeps your ink good and moist. So this is a permanent ink, and they do smell just a little bit funny. All right, now one trick I have learned over the years to make sure my stamp is going in the right direction first, I'm just going to grab a piece of scrap paper over here to the side and stamp it so I can be sure that I am actually stamping it going in the right direction, because there is nothing worse than stamping it after you've glued something down to find out that it's not the right way. And so see, it says remember now. I love these little stamps for little bitty things like that. Can you see now? Now I think this just needs just a little more something something. So I'm going to put, I've got my little ephemera pack over here. I'm going to dig through it. And I have a little flag. This didn't come in the paper collection. This is from my scraps. It has a lot of the browns in it, so I pulled it out. And I think it would be fun to kind of tuck one of these under here, like this. So I'm going to just trim off a little spot of it. I love to use my scraps. I use them up all the time whenever I'm making little things like this. So I'm encouraging you guys to please take a moment, go through your scraps, see what you have. It might surprise you. And then I have some scraps of this paper where I trimmed it down. So it would be nice to incorporate some of these other colors in there maybe. I really like this page that has the arrows on it. So I think it would be fun to just kind of throw some of those right there on top of that. And I'm going to grab this one right here. And notice that I'm cutting a grid, because that's how this paper was designed. This particular pattern in this paper was designed on a grid, and it helps to keep the fluid movement, you know, the flow of the paper, or the flow of the eye direction. I'm babbling because I'm so excited. I love this paper. It has so many little intricate things that you can use. The tiniest little detail. Tiny, tiny, tiny little detail makes such a big impact when you're layering. And these scissors are way too bulky for me. I'm shaking too much. Now, this particular one has a little tiny yellow orange colored arrow on it, and I'm going to kind of put it right here so it sticks out a little bit going this way. And just a little spot of glue on there, and I don't want to glue the whole thing. I only want to glue the piece that's going to be on the Polaroid. Okay, so we got that. Now, one thing I did think about over here, see, this is what happens with mini albums, is I get to thinking about something and then I come back to it. One thing I really like is the look of stitching. And unfortunately, in this type of mini album, I would have had to do the thinking of the stitching prior to me actually starting to glue everything down. But I have this little stamp that's a stitch, and it's a Tim Holtz. It came off of the one that has the dress form on it. And you know, I think that's how I'm going to hide that up there at the top. I'm just going to kind of do my own little faux stitching with this archival ink here. This, or it's not archival, it's this, what's the name of this ink? It's called Surface Z. And that's how I'm going to hide that mess right there. See how that just looks like it was stitched? Fun, fun. It's irregular because I'm not using a block, which I think adds to the character as well. And I'm going to stitch just right down here along the bottom as well. Fun. It's just a fun little detail. And then just to kind of add a little more something there, I think these kind of remind me of flags, and these are the negatives of this. So I'm going to think about that. I don't know if I want to add that or not, but like I said, just hold on to it because things come to you as you create. Now, don't overcover because we're going to have journaling right here, so we don't want to put too much more here. And maybe I'm going to let this one be for now and come back to it. Maybe a little flower. Maybe, I don't know. Let me see what else I got in my arsenal over here. Ooh, I have this little guy, which is just a tab that was cut from scrap. Oh yeah, I like that there. But let's darken it up just a little bit with this vintage photo. And then I can add like maybe the date or something on this mini album. The thoughts I had behind this mini album were that fall is right around the corner. We do a lot of things together as a family in the fall because it's not so blazing hot. You can actually be outside. Suzanne reminded me that locally there is a corn maze, so we might go do that. There's always the pumpkin yard where we go pick out our pumpkin every year. So those are all fun little things that we do as a family, and I wanted to have a book ready, sort of similar to our December dailies, where I can go ahead and start documenting all of those fun things that we do in the fall that tend to get forgotten because it's such a busy time for us that no one slows down long enough to smell the roses. So this way I have a way to document them. And see how that little tab just added that little pop of something? But I think what I want to do is put it behind the flag. And that's how layers begin. You just tuck one inside the other, one on top of the other, until you get the combo you like. Yeah, I like that. Because now the flag is standing out. Okay, so now what I have is, I have this arrow leading your eye back over to this other page. I have this little title that says Remember. I have this flag that also leads your eye back over here. We'll have a photo here, and we'll have our journaling spot here. Don't go any further with this until your stuff is in the bag. So I'm going to close this over, and we're going to start this page. See how easy this is coming together? Hi, Peggy. I'm so glad you could make it. I'm recording. Now on this page, this has a really nice pattern, so I think I'm going to keep it somewhat simple. I've cut out one of these Polaroids again with the white, and this one's slightly larger than the last one. This one is 3¼ inches by 7½ inches, and then the inside here is 3 inches. So this will be a 3×3 picture. Again, I'm going to put down my photo, but I think this time, because this is going to be a kind of a tight fit, I'm again going to go this way with it. Right there. And I have, this is from the ephemera pack, and this is just going to help add a little bit of color. Maybe actually I want to go the other way with it. I'm going to go right here. And I may want to darken this up just a little bit because it's just a little too stark. This gets it looking dirty, almost like it's been around in the cabinet for a while. You know, just kind of, it's probably been easier to do it before I put it down. Remember, this is going to get covered up because we're going to, you know, be gluing that down. So then I have this beautiful flower here, and it's okay if it sticks up a little bit over the top of that Polaroid. I think that gives it a little bit of interest. Or the other option is we could trim off, finish trimming off around here, cut the leaf off and add it somewhere else, which might be actually a better idea because then I can tuck it like this. Yes, I like that. So here we go. We're going to pull this up and maybe put a pop dot behind it. What do you guys think? That'll give it a little elevation as well. Now when I do this, I'm not going to put the pop dot behind this part that's going to tuck underneath because there's no need. Like that. Perfect. What do you guys think? These are so simple. This whole thing is coming together so easily. I hope you guys are following along fine. Now I have this extra leaf, and I don't want to see it go to waste, and I'm afraid it won't match too many other places, but it might. But again, part of layering is just playing. And I think if I add it here, it's going to get lost. So I'm going to save it for something else because it might actually work inside of one of these other layers somewhere. No, I don't like it there. There's too much brown there. So I'm just going to put it to the side and hold on to it for later. But again, one of the things I told you guys that I really, you know, like about the fall is there's so many activities for us to go to and things like that. So this is an admit one. This is the Tim Holtz admit one. Y'all are going to laugh at me, but it's the big ticket. This the ticket set that he has, and Lena had shared it with me. She had given it to me. Oh, we've got a Tonya virgin in the house. So Lena had given me the Tim Holtz set that was the commemorative set that had the tickets on it. Well, sometimes I die cut these little small tickets out, and I just stamp them anyway, and it's really neat how you get a different look from the same ticket that you've been using over and over and over again. So sometimes just pay attention to your stamps. Even though they can't stamp on the full surface or you're die cutting out part of it, you may get a different look that you really like. And part of layering, like I said, is having multiple things, you know, sitting around on your desk. And I seriously have like a humongous bucket of just little pieces like this that I'm digging through at the moment. You know, they just make little fun details to tuck in. I'm thinking I might want to put some of that washi tape on this side because there's not a whole lot of orange. So in this case, I'm just going to rip it, and I'm going to put it like right onto, I might want to go this way with it, and put it underneath this flower. Now after you add your photographs, you can come back in and glue all of these little Polaroids down. But look at how that adds just a pop of color. Just a little pop of color there. And I don't know. Nah. We'll keep thinking about that one. Might be nice to throw a three-dimensional flower. Oh yeah, I like that. Okay, so I'm going to just add a little flour. I've got my little hot glue gun over here to the side, and it's hungry. It has no glue in it. I really like the way that looks, but again, it needs a little spot of color, so I'm going to grab off my Prima Chalks and find a nice fall color in here that I can add to what's already there. Maybe this yellow. This is a really good color. This color is called Colt's Foot Stamens, but I'm going to make a mess out of this yet. I'm going to dump something in the floor before the night is over, I promise. That's just who I am. That's how I roll. These chalks make it so easy to add just a little spot of color to something. And you can use a paintbrush and really get your detail good on this. You can use more than one color because they blend really well. Like maybe I'll take a paintbrush and put this one on. You know, you can use your mat and put just a little bit on your mat. You can paint directly with the color, or you can put a little spot of water on it to activate it just a little bit more, and you can use it like a watercolor. That was just water that I have there. You don't want it too wet, though, because this is hymnal pages. This is another thing that I really like to use in my scrapbook pages for my layers, is hymnal pages. It's a way for me to bring my religious beliefs into my work. I love it. I love the look of the old music paper. They're usually pretty thin and fragile, so they add a really nice texture to everything. And look at how that just became fall. And when it dries, it's looking kind of muddy right now, but when it dries, it will actually look a lot better because the paper's really wet. And I'm just going to hit it one more time with this sunflower color. And that's kind of what it really reminds me of, is a little sunflower. Now, let that dry for just a minute, and I may come back with some stickles and add a little spot of stickles right here in the center to give it a little more pop. Now, this color right here is a little bit too bright for me, so I have another piece of washi tape here that's gray. I mean, it's kind of craft colored, and it has these little arrows on it, and I think I'm going to add it to it. It has these little chevrons. Don't ask me where I got all this washi tape from, because I just collect it like I'm crazy or something. I don't know. Am I the only one who collects and hoards washi tapes like crazy? Or can't be. So look at that. All of a sudden that toned down that orange, but it still kept the integrity of the stripes and the orange. And maybe I might want a little orange in that sunflower. I don't have really an orange color, but this is close. Oh yeah. See how just adding layers and layers of color even can really change the look of something. You know what else this is missing? Maybe some twine. What do you guys think? Alright, let's dry that before I make a total mess out of it. Anybody got any questions so far? You collect washi tape too? Yeah. I collect everything too. You guys would die if you saw my room. It's just ridiculous. Okay, so I have this twine over here. These are from American Crafts, and I really like this navy blue. So I'm just going to make like a little bow. And we're going to tuck that stinker right in there behind that flower. The flower, I think the paper and the twine just kind of add that feel of organic, a little organic touch to this little mini album. I just don't know where I want to put it. I thought I wanted it down there, but it's really not working down there. Where should I put it, guys? Oh, right there. I like it there. Like it's almost like a package. See, a lot of times you see all these layers and you think, oh my gosh, that's so complicated. But as you guys can see, it really isn't complicated. It's just adding one thing on top of the other until you've achieved the look that you're after. See, like, I'm not, I don't know. I mean, this is what I do whenever I'm creating. I just pick up one thing after another and just keep tucking it until I achieve the look that I'm after. I have all kinds of little things over here in this little bucket. But I think I want to move on to the next, to the next thing. Let's see, I've got this cute little bird. Maybe he can go on the other side. Okay, so put these to the side, out of my way. And again, we'll make this really sparkly in a minute after it's had time to really dry good. Okay, so we're going to go on to the next page. And the next page, this is one of the pieces that I cut off of. Is this the one I wanted to use? This is one of those pieces that I cut off of the bottom of the envelopes. And I think what I really want to do here, oh no, this is the one I wanted, is I punched it with my Bind It All. Then I'm going to take and pick out, I like this orange. I think I really want that on this side. And it's okay that it's hanging over just a little bit because you're not going to see it. I'm going to go ahead and glue this down on this side. Just like that. I'm going to trim this off. And I put glue across there, so I'm going to go ahead and trim it off. I wasn't going to, but I want to use this as a pocket. So I have, this comes in the with the paper collection, or Suzanne has it in the store. These are those little wooden pieces that go with the collection, and they are awesome. Here's some other ones I have here. This one I want to use on the cover. And then there are all these little nice wooden veneer frames. So this one says, so very thankful. And I really wanted to include that into this project. And I can put a nice size 3x5 photo on the back of it. So I'm going to leave it blank. I'm not going to try to cover it up. I'm not going to try to stamp on it or anything. I'm just going to leave it the way it is, because I really think it's nice to be able to see that we are so very thankful. So I'm going to cover this side, and I think I want to cover this one with this blue color. And these are just the leftover pieces that I had after I trimmed off the paper to fit. Whoops. To fit on my envelopes. Is everybody with me so far? Are you guys learning anything? This is such a simple project. It really is. I mean, sometimes I look at it and I think, man, I'm trying, you know, it just looks too easy. And honestly, I find that sometimes we get so complicated with everything that we lose sight of the real meaning of what we're doing is really the picture and the statement that the picture makes, not so much the embellishments and all of that. Sometimes keeping it simple is really refreshing. Does that make sense? I just want to make sure that that was glued down really well, but I did not interfere with my pocket because I don't want these ends to come up. And sometimes with the ATG, they just don't. So you want to make sure you glue all the way to the edge. Same thing here. Just glue all the way to the edge. And again, just keeping it simple. I don't want to use, did I just do that back? No. Okay. I'm going to put that there like this. Is that right? And then this is going to go right here. And I may move this back a page because after looking at it, this is the same pattern as used here. And I may not want to do that, so we'll play with it. Okay, So the next thing I want to do is we need to dress up this little pocket a little bit, because I do want to keep it simple, but keep in mind that this is pretty naked on this side altogether. So I don't want to put too much on here, because if I do, it's going to get too bulky and I'm not going to be able to close my flap over. But I do want to kind of dress it up a little bit. So the best way to do that is to take the same blue, cornflower blue, well, let's use the same one we used on the other side, and just wrap it around a couple of times. Actually, that one's not going to work either. Let's try the green. I will have this into a nice big fat mess before the night's over. But just wrap it a couple of times, and just something this simple can add so much to something. See, just wrap it a few times. And on this side, I'm going to put my bow. Get that out of the way. On this side, I'm going to put my bow, and on the other side, maybe a flower. So I'm just wrapping it around. I always start out with a knot, because that helps keep everything kind of in place. So I'm going to just kind of pull those around, spread them out a little bit. Remember, there's going to be a photograph right here. Make a little bow right here. Probably would have helped if I had made the bow before I trimmed off the edge. Boy, if you guys could see me like on a Saturday when I'm rested, could you imagine? I'm so tired that sometimes I just don't even think I talk in nouns at night. Are you guys following along okay? My boss tells me every now and then, he'll say, stop talking and breathe. Okay, so see, I really like that. Really, really like it. It's simple. It's elegant. Little thing there. Pull that tail down. And if this thing doesn't want to lay where you want it to lay, just put a little spot of glue behind it. It'll lay. It'll give in to your way of thinking. So let's do this. Let's just put a little spot of glue right there. It'll give in, trust me. Okay, now I want to take and add a little something here, maybe to this side especially. I have in my little stash, what did I do with them? No. I'm looking, hold on. I have, oh, here it is. Okay, I have this cute little heart. How cute is that? But it needs some life, so we're going to just take this ink pad and run it right over it. It's going to give it a little bit of life. Now, notice I'm avoiding black in this album, and there's a reason. Because this paper collection has used navy blue as its black rather than black, which is one of the redeeming qualities of it. So I'm not going to use a whole lot of rich dark black colors on here. And keep in mind that this is probably going to have a really cute really cute picture. So I don't want to do too much on here. That's going to be too bulky. This is just some twill ribbon that I had that was shared with me from another friend. So just look in your stash, see what you got that's fall colored that will match it. Guys, tonight is our 1-year anniversary. I don't know if Suzanne has said that yet or not because I can't see the chat. Tonight we celebrate 1 year of our broadcast. Can you believe it? So, for those of you who have been around for a while, tell me what your favorite class was that we've done so far. We've had so many. Do y'all like the layout classes? Do you like the mini albums? Tell me what you like so I know what I'm doing right. And all I'm doing is taking this twill ribbon and I'm cutting little flags out of it. Minis. Oh, minis are hard to do too in Ustream. You know, they're really hard because of the time constraint. What if we did a series